Hello everyone and welcome to Medical Insight. My name is Dr. Andie and today we are in Pretoria and we came to speak to Mr. Emmanuel Kiyonga, who has found a drug that can be used in treating breast cancer and osteoporosis. Come, let's talk to the man. Emmanuel, welcome to Medical Insight.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm fine and excited to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for saying yes to this interview.
I'm humbled.
Right. Can you please tell us more about yourself? Who is Emmanuel Kiyonga?
Well, Emmanuel Kiyonga is a young man born in Uganda, raised in South Africa. I'm a Christian, I God-fearing, born again to be specific. And I'm an academic, I'm a pharmacist by profession.
Yes.
I'm a scientist, a researcher, and now an inventor.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I love that, now an inventor.
Yes.
Obviously, that is the reason why we are here, why we are having this interview. But that's not how it started for you.
Yes.
You mentioned how that already by primary level, you had to change schools 9 times.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes, so in Uganda then, there was no free education, unlike it is here in South Africa. So education is so much commercialized. So there's a lot of private schools, and my parents gave birth to 6 children, and I'm the 3rd born. So by the time it reached my school-going age, there was no money. They could only afford to take 2 kids, my elder siblings, to school. So there was not enough money to take me to school. And so I stayed at home, and my mom homeschooled me. So it's my mom who taught me how to count, how to read, until a time came where members of the community could see that they were starting a new school, and they could see that there's this kid who stays at home.
How old were you at this time?
I think like 6 years old, yeah. And then they offered to take me to school, Kasiria Primary School, yeah. That's the first school I attended, and when it became big, then they said, no, you must pay. But because they couldn't pay, they excluded me. So it became...
So academic exclusion has been since primary?
Since. I know what it means to go to school and you are in class, you are attending, and then the treasurer of the university comes and says, those who have not paid school fees...
And it's not.
Emmanuel Kiyonga out. And then in Uganda, you literally go home. They send you home. And so that was my academic journey growing up. But whenever I was at school, I was always brilliant. I was always a top student.
You look smart.
People say that, but it's the grace of God. I was always brilliant. I never struggled in school, academically.
And at what point, I think you came to South Africa in 2009?
Yes.
What necessitated the move from Uganda to South Africa? My
parents had been in South Africa since a while back because they were schooling at Rema Bible College. My father studied there. My mother joined him. They were studying to become pastors. They graduated the Rema Bible College.
So you are a PK, what we call pastor's kid.
Pastor's kid, definitely, because my father is a pastor. My mother too is let me not say pastor, but prayer warrior. So they've been in South Africa since the 1990s, 1998, 7s there. And then when obviously they came back home, things were started to not work out financially and all that. And then they had to now decide to come back to South Africa. When they came back, that's when now they also invited me to come along and join them.
And at what grade did you start schooling in SA?
Grade 8. So 2009, I was doing my grade 8. Yes.
And how was the academic journey? Was it different from back home?
Definitely different in a good way, because the Ugandan education system is so good, but it's a bit harsh compared to South Africa. For example, you finish school at 4 p.m., 5 p.m. sometimes.
In Uganda?
At primary.
Elementary level?
Yes. The teachers there is corporate punishment? They beat a lot. Unlike here in South Africa, you finish school at 2 o'clock, there's no beating. So life was
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
You were cruising nicely.
Cruising nicely, yeah.
Yeah. Did you encounter any 2008? I think that's around about the same time South Africa had the largest xenophobic attacks. Did you ever suffer any kind of bullying from school or that kind of, in that sense?
So let me make this clear.
Yeah.
South Africa, the xenophobic stories and attacks, we want to recognize that they are there. Xenophobia is real, but I've never experienced it.
Really?
Yeah, I also see it on TV like other people say, oh, there is xenophobia in Alexandra.
Yeah.
Then I also watch the news like others.
Wow.
So the xenophobia, that is, the violence is there, but it's not the whole country. It's just a individual group, a tiny group of people who carry out that operation, and it dies out because South Africans are not xenophobic at all, and they don't tolerate it. I remember 2010 as well, there was an insurgence which tried to come, but the citizens stood up and said, no to xenophobia, we're Africans, Africa, we're one, and they defeated it. That's why over the years, xenophobes have never found an expression in South Africa. They've tried, but they're always minority and they're always excluded. Yeah.
Beautiful. And now let's come to your tertiary education.
Yes.
You come to SMU. Is SMU the only university you applied to?
Only university I've ever applied to and I've ever studied. Yeah.
Why was that? Because generally as matriculants, we send applications left, right, and center.
Well,
north, south, east, wherever a university is and I have the application money, I'm sending my application there.
Let me shock you. When I had done with my matric, I had no intentions of pursuing higher education, majorly because I was a foreign student. I never believed I could afford. Number two, there was no bursaries, and higher education seemed impossible, out of reach for me. But when I had completed my matric and the results were out, my results were good. Well, they were brilliant. One of my classmates said, Emmanuel, what's your plan? Because I never applied.
What were your results in matric in summary?
Well, there were some distinctions there. Yeah, there were some distinctions there. I got a distinction in maths, in life science, life orientation. I don't even remember, but I did so well. I got a bachelor's in summary, which could qualify me to varsity. So I never applied to any university when I was in matric. I never had, I think, even information or resources or even the will because of the discouragement of not affording. Until Tasha Koza, which was we used to compete. She used to be number one, I used to be number two. She told me, Emmanuel, what's your plan? I'm going to UP. She went to UP for medicine. I said, no, I didn't apply anyway. She said, there's a university in Harangua called Medunsa. Why don't you go try it? I heard they have late
application acceptance and so forth.
I ran to Harangua 2014.
We're in the same class.
Yes.
2014.
Same year. Same year,
yeah.
So I came here, did a late application for Bachelor of Science, and I got in. And that's how I joined Medunsa in tertiary education, We thank Tasha as an angel that sent forth. Now, we have patented drugs discovery because somebody called you and said, dude, what are you doing with your life? Yes.
Interesting. We are going to take a short break at this juncture, and when we come back, we delve into the real matter, why we are here. Stay tuned.
You've heard the testimonies. You've seen the demonstration of the supernatural. But you haven't watched it told this way. Do you believe in miracles? Updated edition.
You're free from it.
A classic compilation of outstanding miracles, healings, and transformations. Relive the unforgettable meetings where lives were changed in moments.
Do you believe in miracles? This is an updated edition, so you can get it for yourself.
Do You Believe in Miracles? Updated edition. Now available on the Pastor Chris Digital Library. Get your copy today. Also available on other video formats. To place your order, please call the number now displayed on your screen. Hurry now.
He loves you and wants you well.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and you are still tuned into Medical Insight. My name is Dr. Andie, and today we are at Sefako Makgatho Health Sciences University, of which I am also a proud alumni. Today we are talking to Mr. Emmanuel Kiyonga, who has helped the university make its first patent intellectual property in the form of a drug that can be used in treating cancer.
Yes. And
My goodness.
Post Menopausal Osteoporosis.
Post Menopausal Osteoporosis.
Yes.
Now, before we get to your master's level, you discovered this at your master's level.
Yes.
But in first year, you did not enroll for pharmacy, that is. You were doing occupational and environmental sciences?
Yes.
How was that? Did you finish the degree? What's the story there?
Yes, in first year when I came here, the late application, I registered for BSc.
So there was a penalty for late application? In a sense that
yes.
you didn't get to do what you initially
Yes.
wanted to do,
So
or would have loved to do.
That's true. So because it's late application, all courses are full. They asked, the available courses then was BSc, diet and speech, which still had some space, and I chose BSc majorly because they said you could use it as a bridging course
for
to
anything.
a course which you want. And I did my BSc, 3 years, completed all the 3 years, then moved to pharmacy.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you did the whole 3 years?
I did the whole 3 years.
And
BSc,
pharmacy 4 years.
Pharmacy 4 years, yeah.
So at what point do you decide, after you've done your undergrad in pharmacy,
Yes.
that you want to do your honors and ultimately masters?
Brilliant. So in pharmacy, it's a 4-year degree. The 4th year is an honors. So it comes with an automatic honors. Then from 4th year, there are requirements. You need to have at least an average of 65. You need to go through an extensive interview, write a very extensive...
And you had an average of more than 65.
I had an average of 70 something, 78 or something, yeah.
That's a distinction at tertiary level.
So I used those results to then switch to masters and, to pharmacy.
You mentioned in the interview earlier that you never had academic challenges. Was the story still the same at tertiary level?
Yes, but partially...
You had to put an effort.
Because you are not funded, you have to hustle to find something to eat, you must pay your education. I was never funded by any institution or any bursary, so I was surviving on my own, and it does have a toll on your academics. Also, my participation in politics, I was in the SRC, it also has a toll on your education, but it was not too significant.
Did you ever repeat a year?
I never repeated a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then finally, you've done your honors, and then you pursue a master's in pharmaceutics.
Yes, so I did my undergrad, which is 4 years inclusive of honors. Then I decided, I think just to take you back on why I chose pharmacy as a degree was, we were inspired by a 4th year student who talked to us when we were in 3rd year about pharmacy. And I mean, most people, when you ask them what is pharmacy about, they will tell you it's a person behind a counter dispensing medication at whatever pharmacy. But that's not it.
It's not, and it's not appealing.
It's not, yeah. But that's a section of pharmacy.
Yeah.
It's called community pharmacy. There is clinical pharmacy, industrial pharmacy, radio pharmacy, pharmaceutics. Pharmacy is a broad field.
Yeah.
So when she mentioned all these, and then she said...
Can you say that again? Because I'm just thinking that maybe somebody who's in high school can be thinking, I want to take a route in pharmacy. Can you just say that say those different options again?
Okay, so pharmacy is broad.
Yeah.
There's industrial pharmacy. Those are the ones who work in the industries. They synthesize drugs. They work with dossiers and they work with different APIs. There's clinical pharmacists who work with doctors. There's
those that help us to dispense to patients.
Yeah, to dispense.
I think that's what all of us are familiar with.
Yes, as doctors. They also help you with patient history, anything clinical.
Okay.
Then there is hospital pharmacists.
And they also have to do their 4-year undergrad.
Yes, once you do the 4 years, you are everything.
Oh,
you are
general
a complete
pharmacist.
package.
Yeah.
Yes. You have access to hospital pharmacy, those are the ones who work in the hospital. Then there is community pharmacists who work at clinics, T-Scam and all that. So I chose, there's also research and academia.
Okay.
So I chose research and academia. Now, within research and academia, you choose which field you want to fall within those that I've mentioned. So you can choose to research about clinical pharmacy or industrial. So I chose pharmaceutics, which is drug formulation, drug synthesis, and drug design. That's where now we make or we play around with drug structures to improve quality of life.
So how do you make this? Your drug is called the raloxifene hydrochloride hydrate salvate.
Yes.
How do you arrive at this point?
Well, when you do your master's, you must come up with a topic.
Okay.
And that topic must be a niche or a need. When we do research, we do it to solve societal problems. So my supervisors, initially we had started with malaria, working on a drug called atovaquone. But when they looked at it, they said, no, there's a vaccine for malaria. What's the need for doing malaria and malaria drug? Then we said, let's look into cancer. That's what they told me. Try to look into cancer. I studied the statistics of cancer. Cancer is the leading cause of death globally. 10 million deaths in 2022, 9.7 in 2023. Every year there's more than 10 million deaths of cancer. On top of that, breast cancer is the leading cause of death among cancer patients. This is 680,000 women who are dying every year because of breast cancer. So that interested me.
And actually breast cancer can also affect men. But it's more common in
women, yes. That shocked me. Those are very high numbers. Then you look at the drugs which are used in treating cancer. The treatment is expensive, it's extensive. Sometimes it's not even changing the quality of life. It's making people more miserable.
Worse.
So it inspires you to say, what can we do to assist such people? Then that's what triggers to research something beyond the imagination of men. That's what triggered because I looked at the drugs which are used in treating cancer, and I could see bioavailabilities are low. Most of them are poorly soluble. Most of them are ineffective. Not really ineffective, but they are less effective because of these physical chemical properties.
Sure. And that is how the journey started.
That's how the journey started. Now I start to work on this drug called raloxifene, which is existing. But it has these short fallings. Like bioavailability is just 2% of raloxifene. Its solubility is low, which obviously affects its absorption and its performance as well.
So for those that don't have a chemistry background, when you say bioavailability and you're talking in terms of a drug, what are you saying?
So bioavailability is the amount of drug which reaches the system. When you take a tablet, like Panad or paracetamol, and it's 100 milligrams, when you take it, the 100 milligrams won't reach the system. Others will go in the liver, others will go, it will get dispersed, which we call first-pass metabolism. You may find that of the 100 milligrams, only 2 milligrams have reached the system. So that 2, we said 2%. That's the bioavailability, how much is available in the system. So that's
to effect the desired change.
To effect the desired change, yes. That's bioavailability, the amount of drug which reaches the system. That's why injections, bioavailability is always 1, or is it 0 or 1? Because it's direct into the blood, an injection. It goes direct into the blood,
Okay, so at what stage then does the university get involved in the whole patenting thing? Are you at liberty to share that?
Yes. So when we do research, the university organizes what we call research days every year. I think they usually happen around August, somewhere there. So where every student must submit an abstract.
And how long was your master's year? How long, this is your first year as a master's student, and how long did it take you to get to a point where, like, guys, I think I've figured something out here?
Brilliant question. So your questions are all mind-blowing, but so remember, I'm the COVID generation. I graduated in 2020. That was COVID. 2021, it was COVID. That's when I started my master's. So 2021, we're all at home. We're not literally, we're just working on online reading. Obviously, I did a lot of reading in 2021. 2022.
Guys, in COVID, you did a lot of reading. That's very key.
Yes. So that year is not counted because it's a COVID year. I mean, we didn't do anything, just reading. But I read so many articles And I think that year helped me. So when I came back 2022, that's when now I started doing the lab work.
Yeah.
Of course, you try different combinations. I was sleeping in the lab. You try ABC. I think more than 1,000 combinations failed.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that reminds me of the guy that discovered lights. I think he had, 10,000 trials?
Trials. It's so frustrating. You go to your supervisor. At one point, they say, no, let's try to change the study. But in that time, that's when we stumbled upon the miracle. So when we discovered it's a miracle because it's a scientific miracle.
Yeah.
We cannot even explain some of the science, the deeper science behind it. For example, the change.
Yes, you have the sample here.
The golden color cannot be explained. It could be a reaction. We're still studying it, this golden color, because none of the compounds I used were golden. They were actually white, pure white. So I don't even know where this gold came from. So
this is a pure miracle.
Yeah, it's a scientific miracle. Yeah, it's a scientific miracle. So when we presented it at the research day of the university has an office called the Technology Transfer Office. I think the government is instituting this in all institutions to identify talent and groom it. So they saw me presenting it, and they said this is very careless, because if it was a conference out there, someone was going to steal it. They approached me and said, Emmanuel, this is brilliant, because I won that conference. They said, this is brilliant, come to our office, let's protect this work. That's when I was introduced to Mr. Poncho and Mr. Sibola.
Intellectual property, patenting, and so forth. You know, because of time, would really like to know much, and particularly about this raloxifene.
This
what?
It's the raloxifene
hydrochloride
solvate hydrate, or hydrate solvate.
Hydrate solvate.
Yes.
Beautiful. But because of time, we want to know, what's the next thing for you, Mr. Emmanuel?
Yes, the next thing, I'm going to open my own pharmaceutical company, where, because I don't want this knowledge to just die off with me, where we're going to train other innovators and researchers into patenting and creating groundbreaking work. Because my discovery is not rocket science. If you look at the method, it's a very simple method, probably 3 steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3.
But it also had 1,000 times of redo.
Yes. But I want to open my pharmaceutical company. Also, this is it was one combination. When I was producing this, I have other compounds as well, which I've not released publicly or patented. I'm also looking into period pains. I want to make a drug for period pains. Also looking into diabetes. So I'm planning to start my own pharmaceutical company. Also planning to go big. The aim is to commercialize this, to reach it into the market and for patients to access it. That's the aim, which of course comes with a lot of red tapes and a lot of hurdles.
But the God that has been with you since primary level, tertiary level, and of course ultimately to your recent discovery, which has had all eyes on you, the man of the hour, is the same God that will see you throughout. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been nice talking to you, Mr. Emmanuel Kiyonga. You are quite inspiring. I actually wish that today's show could have been an hour, so that you share with us how you came to this point where you have intellectual property that is patented. But before we go, do you have any last healthcare tips for our viewers?
Healthcare tips?
From a pharmacist.
Take care of yourself. When you're given a drug, finish the dose. Take care of yourself, exercise, eat healthy, avoid a lot of sugars. Just live healthy and take care of your body. Remember, the health starts within your mind. And another thing is, anything is possible for as long as you think and imagine it. God has already put the ability of creation in man. So as long as you believe it, you can achieve it.
As long as you believe it, you can achieve it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Medical Insight, and on our next show we are going to be talking about breast cancer and osteoporosis, so that you better understand what this drug that Mr. Emmanuel Kiyonga has discovered, what is it used to treat. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on our next episode. Bye-bye.